Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by. Welcome to the Product Management View webinar series. During the presentation, all participants will be in a listen-only mode. If you'd like to ask a question during the presentation, please use the chat feature located in the lower left corner of your screen. If at any time you need to reach an operator, please press *0. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded Wednesday, May 11th, 2011. I would now like to turn the conference over to Val Workman. Please go ahead, sir.
Thanks, Alan. And for those of you who don't believe it, he is really from ReadyTalk. And for those participating through the ReadyTalk interface, Twitter, and those who will be reviewing this webinar as a podcast or a flash presentation later, hello. I'd like to welcome you to this new session of the Product Management View series. I'm Val Workman from Ryma Technology Solutions, one of the sponsors of this webinar. And again, if you'd like to present or have a topic that you'd like to suggest, feel free to start a discussion in the Grandview community or send us a note or in the survey at the end of this webinar, and we'll be pleased to address it. The PMV is all about distributing the shared experiences of the members within our open product management community, and today the PMV is the world's largest free repository of product management recordings. And again, it's my pleasure to welcome back Si. He's going to be presenting today's topic, the WE-Centric Leadership, Part 2 of two parts. And if you failed to catch the first part, feel free. It's still available to be downloaded, the recorded session and the PowerPoints to catch up. Before we turn the time over to Si, I'd like to remind those using Twitter you can follow and add additional conversations and questions using the Twitter hashtag #PMV during this webinar, and then continue conversation about this webinar on the Grandview community blog afterwards. I'd encourage you to make the comments and ask additional questions on Si's posting as well. I'll also be collecting questions throughout this presentation to address during the Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Please feel free to send your questions and comments to me in the chat section in the lower left corner of ReadyTalk interface, and we can be very as rude as we want, chatting away while Si you're presenting. And so I enjoyed talking with you folks. Again, I'm going to now pass the control over to Si to kick off today's presentation on WE-Centric Leadership, Part 2. Go ahead, Si.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Val, and thank you so much for having me back here, and definitely appreciate all the folks joining us today. This is part 2 of a two-part series, exactly as Val indicated, and definitely, again, gratitude goes out to the community, ReadyTalk, and likewise Ryma Technologies. I'm going to jump in and kind of pull in a few of the pieces that we've talked about in Part 1. However, if you did not attend Part 1, I highly, highly suggest you go back and kind of take a look at that, because definitely there's a lot of rich content there, as well as other webinars that are posted out there in the community. A little bit for the folks who perhaps did not attend the previous session, relative to my background. I work with organizations across product management and product development and everything in between, and really try to help organizations achieve, if you will, a better state of health. And what that really boils down to is higher performance organizations as well as well-being. So sustainability is a major factor. I am very much a student of the practice. Everything that we talk about on the webinars are definitely demonstrated in practice. So these are not just ideas that we talk about, but rather they truly are delivering value, and we are really taking a lot of the learnings from what we're experiencing and pulling them back into the webinar. So extremely, extremely based in practice. Likewise, I work with both business and technology, as well as numerous approaches that we pick up and leverage from the Agile community, and likewise from numerous frameworks within the product management community, etc. So a lot of richness in content. Given that, for folks who did get a chance to attend the first session, definitely we talked about basically tribal leadership, which we'll touch upon here briefly, and then WE-Centric leadership, and two really models of leadership that are very much synergetic. And what we're going to do in this session here is really dig into, as a tribal leader, at stage 4, as we'll talk about it briefly and introduce it, how does a tribal leader operate and really behave within that space? So without too much more to say,